All right. Let me see if I can impart on you some wisdom right now. Because what is happening right now? Now, for those of you who know and those of you who don't, or maybe aren't fully aware, when planning for the expo, you have to do a lot of homework. Now, way back, even as far back into the early aughts, when I first started getting into this and wanted to do this more on an annual basis, that 90% of your knowledge when you do the homework, to say, okay, what do I want to go see when I go to the expo? Because it's more outside the exhibit hall than you want it, to be aware of, and to see. But 90% of that isn't on the website, isn't made available of what's scheduled until, quite frankly, literally the 11th hour. So it's 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 not that much of you know um, it's it's not that much different than, basically, if I could put this in terms people can understand, invading a small nation. It's preparation, 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 and you can't do that until like the week of, because you don't know what you're planning. You just got to plan as much as you can. If you want to do the hotel thing, get registered for the convention itself. You know, just get done what you can or what you're interested in doing at the time. And then when you get down to the week of, and then you start dealing your battle strategy. Now, the one thing even I've learned from my first time at a convention is that the line to get in is very long, especially on day one. Every day after that is not so much, but still can be, especially in the morning. Now, if you're a new investor, what the things not to do is to not just assume this will be easy. Because I heard stories of people coming in and saying, "Well, we came in at 10, and then we didn't get in until like 4 o'clock or 3:30 or something like that." It's like, well, yeah, you got here at 10 on day one. What did you think was gonna happen? It's like, yeah, they don't know Jack, and it's kind of, it's not like rookie mistake, because you assumed this was going to be easy. This is the largest convention. It's not. It's advertised as the largest convention in the U.S., and people think this shit's going to be easy. Like, the flood, the intake is going to the intake coming in is going to be handled easily and efficiently. The answer to that is no, it is not. Even if they do have two entrances and various different exits, which still should remain closed, by the way, and cannot be opened from the outside, because then we'll have that massive run like we did a couple of years ago. Good times. Point is, so I'm trying not to. All right, all right. At a smaller convention, I can understand. You would think you'd be there for a while, but the line shouldn't be that long for such a small venue, and you just walk on in. Bigger would be a few more hours more, but they didn't realize it would be a lot of hours more. So, yeah, it's just research, 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 and get there as early as possible. And then make a plan, and then assume your entire plan is just not going to work at all. That's an assumption right off the bat, right there. Everything you have planned to go see and do is just not going to work for whatever reason, for postponement, cancellation, rescheduling, all that, all that. So, how are you going to get there? How do you get there? Once you get off the freeway, it's a bit complicated. I mean, you could get right off the freeway and just pull right into the back, and then boom, you're there. But the thing is, that's the easier way, and it's still a little bit complicated because you still have to know where to go. Where are the parking lots? Where are the not free parking lots, but like where are the paid, down the street parking lot, parking for the day. Can you remember how to get back to it? You know, so navigating the whole thing just to get there is quite complicated. There are one-way streets. It's not just drive there, boom. It's complicated. That's why I take the bus. It just cuts out all that navigation, or an Uber, or a Lyft, or whatever. So, and for people wanting to get into this, as some part of me feels as laughable as that is, because they're trying to get into it in this day and age, it's like, right, sure, you'll just do that. For people that's tuned in you know, into the internet as it is now, people don't realize this takes homework. It isn't easy. You have to understand the nature of the beast, and people don't. They assume it's something you just, like an office, you can just walk right into, like you own the place. It's like, no, it's not. Can't. You can't just walk in. You have to find out how to get in, where to stand, where to wait, how long is it going to take. And like I've been saying from the beginning, you're going to do a lot of basically three things: sitting, standing, and walking. And it's a lot. It's a lot. And it's loud and it's crowded. So it's not, and it was originally more adult, well, more mixed deck, I guess you want to call it, or mixed nut or whatever, with the adult content. Yes, I was there, people. I remember the mixed in hentai booth. Criminy. Um, and then there was the whole, parental guidance thing with the whole man face thing, and then now it's all now curtained off. So it has changed a bit, with the parental guidance suggestions. It's a partition curtain, which is interesting, but it's bigger. I saw on the map it's bigger than what it was last year, or some years ago. Last time I went in there. So a lot of the hentai booths are coming back, probably from Hentai Con. Would be my guess. Would be my guess. I haven't been to Hentai Con. I've been meaning to go someday. But yeah, it's a lot of work. Even at with a week to prepare, it's still a lot of work to realize. Okay, what am I interested in? What is this? I don't know what that is. For one panel, is that something of interest? Will it be full by the time I get there? By the time I leave here to get to there, you know, will I be able to see what I wanted to see? And a lot of the time, it's going to be no, because if it's interesting, a lot of people are going to go, so it's going to be crowded, so therefore it'll be full by the time you get there. You see, that's what I say. If you're going to make a plan, make sure you have it in your head that if you try to do these things in this chronological order, to go from panel to concert, whatever, panel, walk around, panel, that everything you have just planned to of interest to go see can just totally not work out, possibly. Or maybe you're not as interested in it as you thought you were. Once you get there, you find it a bit boring or not your thing. It can happen. So you have to say, okay, what else is there? you know and and frankly, just walking around taking pictures of cosplayers is a good side, um side what side, not exercise, side project, side, um not exercise, a thing to do, not project ish, but something to do, an activity, side activity, basically. Yeah, let's say that. a side activity. If everything else just doesn't work out at the time and there's something else you really want to walk over to that sounds interesting, then basically just take pictures of cosplayers is basically, a good thing to do at the time to fill in the time, and they're everywhere. And everyone's always up for a photo op, pretty much. Just say, yo, can I take a pic? Yeah. And then they got to put their stuff down and pose. It's like, it's okay. You don't have to put everything down. And then strike a pose and find your light. It's okay. I'll just take the picture with your stuff, with the bag on. It's okay. But yeah, down in the exhibit hall lobby, that was always a good place to just walk around this big area, and people are taking pictures, and groups of people taking pictures of other groups of cosplayers, and it's, good times all around. So having having experienced all this for about 23 23 years 23 years since 2000, pretty much, if I remember correctly. Or was it? No, it was 2000, I believe, was the first. Yeah, 2000. Then I went in 2001, and so on and so forth. So when this whole thing, you know, blows up in your face, and it will. Don't say it won't. Just remember, there's always something else to do, something else to go see, something else to experience. It could be a flash mob or another mob that broke into song. Who knows? Who knows? But try to remember there's no real set uh, schedule for you. There's set schedule for the expo. But for you, don't try to set anyone expectations as a solid, sure thing. That's going to be the thing, Always count on it to go sideways at any moment. It's the best way to look at it. I'm sorry, it's the best way to look at it, because things will be canceled, things will be postponed, or most often, just full. If it's popular and you want to go see it too, most often it will be full or next to capacity, or it's going to take a long time to get there, because it's hard to go from one thing panel to the next, and be in line early enough to get in there at any reasonable time, if at all. So you always have to realize that this thing can always fail, but there's always more to see. There's always somebody to go see. And every time I felt defeated, there's always some street performer, cosplayer, or something or other that made it suck just a little bit less. And I thank them for that. Maybe one of these days I'll go to an opening ceremony instead of the exhibit hall. DVDs are on the out. It's on the decline. All this, all that. It'll be a thing of the past. It'll all be streaming. Xeon, on the Disney Channel, back in the day, pretty much called it, where events and videos will be streamed instead of, watched, media. Playable media. Anyway, so that's pretty much it for right now, people out there, just prepare in the last week when things start to get a bit more schedulized of who's coming, what, when, where, how, blah, blah, blah. All that. And just try to make a loosely based schedule as best you can. And then, pick two. Pick two that are happening at the same time and say, okay, if that's number one, this would be number two, if it's happening at the same time. And see what happens. Just have interests and just try to film as best you can. And if you fail at all of them, then That's just how it turns out, you know. And get there early, for crying out loud. Don't come here at 10 in the morning thinking you'll just walk in on day one or whatever. It's like, that might work on day three, but day 3 or 4, but not day one. Trust me. Especially not day one. And if you can, if they have pre-registration on day 0, sometimes they do have a day 0 pre-registration, do it. Just do it and get it out of the way. So that way, when you can get inside, something for like an afternoon or whatever later on, then you could just walk in a lot easier, so you don't have to deal with getting in there early, staying in line for 5 hours, and then getting in. You can just walk in at your leisure to get in line to, or go see what it is you want to go see. It's just, it's able to help you um, have an easier experience. I guess that's everything for now. And I'll be live streaming my event on my heads up display. So, yeah. So you all will be there with me minute by minute, seeing how boring it is waiting in line for 4 hours. I'll try to bring something else with me, probably this too, so I can listen or watch some other stuff on my old phone. All right. So until next time, fair, faithful viewer, see you at the convention.